Okay, now we are going to see about important 3 marks in electrostatics. The first one is torque experienced by an electric dipole in a uniform electric field. So here let us consider an electric dipole. Here plus q and minus q, they are separated by a small distance 2a, and this is an electric dipole where AB is electric dipole and it is placed in uniform electric field. The arrow mark represents is a uniform electric field. Okay. See here, when the dipole is placed in uniform electric field, the charge plus q will experience the electric force. The charged particle in electric field will experience the electric force. Here the plus q will experience the force F is equal to EQ. Here the plus q charge will experience the force F vector is equal to E vector q. Similarly, the minus q also will experience the force F vector is equal to minus EQ. Okay. And these two forces equal in magnitude but acts in opposite in direction, but their lines of action is different, so that it will not cancel each other. Here the torque, one force acts in this direction and another force acts in this direction, so that this will try to rotate the dipole in the uniform electric field. So this produces a torque, these two forces produces a torque. Okay. So how will you write the torque? Torque, it is equal to distance into force, distance into force. So in this case we are going to write the torque about the center of the dipole, so that from the center to A the distance is OA. Here the OA distance is nothing but A, and here the force experienced by the minus charge is minus E vector q. So distance into force. Similarly, here the distance is OB and force is QE. Okay. So this is in vector form. Now I am going to write it in magnitude form. In magnitude form, we need not to consider the negative sign, because the magnitude of QE, it is equal to the magnitude of QE. So magnitude of minus QE, it is equal to the magnitude of plus QE. Okay. In magnitude form, a OA value is nothing but A. Okay, and then QE. If you remove the cross product, then we have to use sin theta. Okay. Similarly here also, here the OB is nothing but A and QE, and then if you remove the cross product, we have to use sin theta. Okay. Here we have a Q, AQE sin theta, AQE sin theta. When you add these two, you will get 2AQ E sin theta. Okay. Here we know that 2AQ is nothing but dipole moment, that is P. Dipole moment, it is defined as product of magnitude of any one of the charge into distance between the two charges. Okay, so instead of 2AQ I am going to use P. So PE sin theta, PE sin theta. So if you want to write it in vector form, remove the sin theta and use cross product. Tau vector is equal to P vector cross E vector. Okay. When this torque will be maximum? If theta is equal to 90, sin 90 is 1. So that tau is equal to PE is a maximum torque. When this torque will be minimum? If theta is equal to 0, sin 0 is 0. So that the torque is 0. Okay students, next. Okay, next I move on to electric potential due to a point charge. The electric potential at a point. So we need to know the expression for electric potential at a point. So V is equal to minus integral of infinity to R E vector dot dr vector. This is the electric potential at a point. Okay. Let us consider a positive charge Q. It is fixed at an origin. Now I am going to bring the another charge from infinite distance to the point P. Here the point P, it is at a distance R from the charge plus Q. Okay, means I am going to move the charge from infinite distance to at a point P. It means at a distance R. That's why I am using the limits minus infinity to R. I am going to move the charge from infinite distance to the point P. The point P, it is at a distance R from the positive charge. Okay. So, this is the general expression for electric potential at a point. So, V is equal minus integral of infinity to R E vector dot dr vector. Here E is the electric field due to the positive charge. So, electric field due to the positive charge, it can be written as, so 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square into R cap. Just you reduce one charge in Coulomb force, you will get electric field. Okay. So, here you substitute this E value in the above equation, so that you will get V is equal to minus, instead of E vector 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and Q by R square into dr into R cap. Okay. Here R cap is a unit vector, so we can write as unit vector R cap is equal to, it's a vector divided by magnitude, dr vector divided by magnitude of dr. From this we can write dr vector is equal to R cap into dr. So, here we can substitute, instead of dr we can substitute actually this is a dr vector. So, dr vector. So, dr vector, it is equal to R cap into dr. Okay. Here the next step I am going to substitute, instead of dr I am going to use R cap into dr. R cap into dr. Already there is one R cap. So, R cap dot R cap, it will become 1. So, the remaining terms are dr by R square. So, when I take this R square to the numerator, this R square will become R to the power minus 2. The x inverse, we take the x inverse to the numerator, it will become x. Okay. Similarly, R to the power 2, if it is goes to the numerator, then it will become R to the power minus 2. Okay. Here minus Q by 4 pi epsilon naught infinity to R, so R to the power minus 2 into dr. Now I am going to integrate R to the power minus 2 into dr. It is in the form of integral of x power n into dx. Okay. Where x power n into dx is equal to x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. Okay, when I integrate R square R to the power minus 2 into dr, we will get R to the power minus 2 plus 1, that is x power n plus 1. Here n is minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1, x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Okay. Infinity to R. And then the next step we will get, here minus 2 plus 1, when I add we will get minus 1, here also we will get minus 1. So, minus minus we can cancel, there will be R inverse. When we take this R inverse to denominator, it will become R 1 by R. So, the final expression is V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R. So, this is a final expression for electric potential at a point P due to a point charge. Okay, next I move on to electric potential energy of a dipole in a uniform electric field. Okay, it is considered an electric dipole, it is placed in a uniform electric field. In this case, the electric dipole will experience a torque that already we have seen in the previous topic. The dipole placed in a uniform electric field will experience the electric torque. Suppose if you want to rotate this electric dipole against the torque produced by the electric field, then we have to do an external work done. So, in order to do external work done, we have to apply an external torque. Okay. So, the work done by an external torque W is equal to, so work done, how will you write in the case of angular rotation? Torque into distance, torque into angular displacement. In the case of linear work done, how will you write? Force into distance. In this case is angular rotation, so that angular motion we have to use torque. Instead of force we have to use torque, and instead of distance we have to use angular displacement. Okay, here I am going to rotate the electric dipole from the angle theta prime to theta. Okay, theta prime is the initial angle to the final angle theta. Okay, and this external force, here I am going to rotate with the constant angular velocity, so that this external torque, the magnitude of the external torque, that is equal to the magnitude of the torque produced by the electric field. Okay, so this magnitude of the torque, already we know that magnitude of P vector cross E vector is nothing but P sin theta, that is the torque produced by the electric field. So the external torque, that is equal to the electric torque, that is P sin theta. So in this case, instead of external torque, I am going to substitute electric torque, the torque produced by the electric field, that is P sin theta. So in the above equation can be written as W is equal to integral theta prime to theta. So instead of external torque, I am going to use electric torque P sin theta into d theta. Okay, here P is a constant, so take it out of integration, and sin theta into d theta. When we integrate sin theta, we will get minus cos theta, P minus cos theta, the limits theta prime to theta. First we have to apply the upper limit, and then we have to apply the lower limit. First we have to apply the upper limit, so minus cos theta, and then before apply the lower limit we have to change the sign, minus into minus will become plus cos theta prime here. And this work done to rotate the electric dipole is nothing but the potential energy difference to move the electric dipole from angle theta prime to theta is a final angle. So potential energy at final position, so potential energy at initial position. So this difference gives the difference in potential energy, that is delta epsilon. So when you multiply this P with the two terms, you will get minus P cos theta and plus P cos theta prime. Here already I said the initial angle is 90 degree. If the initial angle is 90 degree means cos 90 is 0. So in this case theta prime will become, cos theta prime will become 0. So the second term will become 0. So that the potential energy, that is equal to minus P cos theta, So this potential energy will be maximum if theta is equal to 0, because cos 0 is 1. So this potential energy will be maximum minus P. If theta is equal to 90, cos 90 is 0, the potential energy will be 0. If theta is equal to 180, then the potential energy will be maximum. In this case, if theta is equal to 180, cos 180, it is equal to minus 1. So already we have a minus into minus will become plus. So epsilon is equal to P plus P. So it will have a maximum potential energy at an angle 180 degree, and it will have minimum potential energy at an angle theta is equal to 0 degree. Okay. Next I move on to the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. Here let us consider two parallel plates having the charge density plus q and minus q, and they are separated by a distance d, and where E is the electric field between the two parallel plates. Okay. In Gauss law application already we studied that the electric field between the two parallel plates, it is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Here sigma is the surface charge density, it means charge per unit area, where sigma is the surface charge density, it is defined as charge per unit area. Now we substitute the sigma in the electric field, that is E is equal to, instead of sigma, q by A and divided by epsilon naught. Okay, and then the electric potential difference See here, this is a positive charge and this is a full of negative charge. Okay, here this is full of negative charge. So there exists a potential difference, positive and negative charge, there exists a potential difference. This potential difference, it is equal to field into distance, that is electric field into distance. Here I know the value electric field q by epsilon naught A, so q by epsilon naught A into distance d. Now I am going to substitute this V value in the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. The capacitance of capacitor, it is defined as charge on either of the conductor plate to potential difference exists between the conductor plates, that is q by V. So instead of V, I am going to substitute qd by epsilon naught A. So q divided by, instead of V, qd by epsilon naught, qd by epsilon naught A. Here we can cancel q and this, there will be remaining 1 by d by epsilon naught A, and bring this epsilon naught A to the numerator, so that epsilon naught A by d. So C is equal to epsilon naught A by d is a capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. Okay, next I move on to energy stored in the capacitor. Let us consider a capacitor, it is connected to a battery of potential V. Now the capacitor will start charging the, it means the charges are transferred from one plate to another plate due to the potential difference applied across the capacitor. Okay. Here, in order to move the charges, we have to do some external work done, and that work done, it is equal to potential into charge. In this case, we are moving the infinitesimally small charges with a potential of V. So the work done to move the infinitesimally small charge dq in the potential difference V, it is equal to dw is equal to V into dq, that is the work done is equal to potential into charge. Okay. From the capacitance of capacitor, we know the value of V is equal to q by C. Okay. Here substitute the value of V, W is equal, when you integrate dw will get W. Here the integral limit 0 to plus q, and instead of V I am going to substitute q by C, that is q by C and then dq. Okay, here C is a constant, so take it out of integration, the remaining terms are q into dq. When you integrate this, we will get q square by 2. So integral of x power n to dx is equal to x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So q power 1 plus 1 is q square by 2. Okay. So 1 by C q square by 2, it can be written as q square by 2c. Okay. Here substitute this work done is stored as electrostatic potential energy in the parallel plate capacitor. So this the work done to move the charge q, and this work done is stored as electrostatic potential energy in the parallel plate capacitor. Okay. So instead of W, I am going to use the symbol epsilon E, that is electrostatic potential energy q square by 2c. From the capacitance of capacitor, we know the value of q is equal to Cv. Here substitute the value of q square, q square is equal to c square v square, here we can cancel 1 c, so remaining cv square by 2, that we can write it as half cv square. So this is the energy associated with the capacitor, parallel plate capacitor. Okay, next I move on to capacitors in series. Okay, next I move on to capacitors in series. Let us consider 3 capacitors C1, C2 and C3 are connected in series. Here the potential drop across the capacitor C1 is V1, potential drop across the capacitor C2 is V2, and potential drop across the capacitor C3 is V3. So in this case, the total charge on each capacitor is same. The only thing is the potential drop across each capacitor is different. So that we are going to find the total potential across these three capacitors. So the total potential that is equal to V1 plus, V2 plus and V3. In this case V1, by using capacitance of capacitor, we can write C is equal to Q by V. When you rearrange for V, we will get Q by C. So first, for writing V1, we have to use Q by C1. In this case, charge Q on each capacitor is same, so that I am using Q. I am not putting any symbols Q1, Q2, because Q is same on each capacitor. The value of Q is same on each capacitor. The only thing is the potential difference is different. Okay, so V1 is equal to Q by C1, because V is equal to Q by C. That's why I am using V1 is equal to Q by C1. Similarly, V2 is equal to Q by C2 and V3 is equal to Q by C3. And total potential drop across these three capacitors is Q by Cs. Okay, when you substitute this in the above equation, we will get Q by Cs equal to Q by C1 plus Q by C2 plus Q by C3, in which take Q common, so we can cancel Q. So 1 by C is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So this is the expression for capacitance of capacitor when they are connected in series. When three capacitors are connected in series, this expression gives the effective capacitance of three capacitors connected in series, and this effective capacitance definitely less than the smallest value of capacitor connected in the series. Okay students, I stop up to this. We will see the remaining in the next classes.